My name is Tarr. I'm a retired staff sergeant with the RCMP, and I was involved in police work for some 37 years. In August of 1998, I was the staff sergeant in charge of the Salmon Arm Detachment when the major fire of '98 occurred. On the day that the lightning struck, I was camped out at Sandy Point with my truck and fifth wheel and my wife and family, and overcast day, and then lightning occurred, and I saw a bit of smoke coming up from the Silver Creek area. It was nothing to be of any great concern, and we carried on. But it was a matter of a very few minutes, about 10 or 15 minutes, and I observed a spotter plane, and there was a little more smoke coming out of there, and I realized that that's BC Forestry, Kamloops, coming out, having a look, and seeing what's occurred. Well, they did that, and things progressed on, and a little bit more smoke, and nothing to get concerned about. But the next day, there was more smoke, and things started to get to a point where we needed to do something. Forestry was in there, and they were applying their skills and abilities to combat this fire, and things kind of got a bit hectic at times, and it didn't take long, and I realized that this is a little bigger than I thought, and it's probably going to cause me a bit of a problem. So I met with Dwayne Bernetti from the city of Salmon Arm, and Ken Tebow, who was fire chief of the day, and we had several little meetings and kind of looking at things. And it didn't take long that forestry was involved with us, and we started to hold daily meetings at 7 in the morning and 7 in the evening to discuss what this fire was doing, where it was going. And I was so impressed with a chap by the name of Jim Modishaw of BC Forestry, who could tell us in the morning what the temperature in the valley floor would be, what the temperature in the hills would be, how big this fire was, how much it was going to grow or diminish today, and what action they were taking to combat that. I was just impressed with what forestry said and could do and did do. They didn't get a handle on it immediately. It's not their fault. They did what they could do, but this fire was in a difficult location. It was in a canyon that wasn't safe to put men or machinery into it, and so things progressed on. As they progressed, we come to the determination that this fire is a little bigger than we anticipated it would be, and we were going to have to evacuate the southeast sector of Salmon Arm, which is basically everything on the south side of the Trans-Canada Highway through the main part of town from Shuswap on, and a little bit in the southwest corner too. And so a decision was made for this. We employed the RCMP auxiliaries, the citizens on patrol, and we went about notification of all the citizens that reside in this area, and telling them that they're going to have to evacuate and move out because we're not sure of just what this fire is going to do. And it was about that time that I realized we need additional policing as well. We had 18 uniformed members of the detachment there, including myself, and so I got assistance from our force, from Enderby, Armstrong, Vernon, Kelowna, Kamloops, Vancouver. And these people came in, they were placed on shift, they brought police vehicles with them, and they were assigned certain areas in town, and they went about ensuring that because everybody was evacuated, there's nothing going to be stolen or any damage occur because the people aren't home. And they did this for us, and I was very impressed with that. The one thing that we did do is in the notification of evacuation, we missed a little street of 4 people, and that bothered me because it was my responsibility, though nothing detrimental occurred because of that inaction. but we wouldn't miss it again. And things continued on. We had great help from the community, from the various organizations, from the citizens in the community who came to assist with providing food or whatever it was, or security at the fire hall where we were holding our debriefing meetings and the such like. And it certainly helped us. I was in a bit of a bind because my residence was evacuated, the police office was evacuated. We had to use the cells in Enderby when we had a prisoner to incarcerate, and we just carried on. Well, in due course, the forestry did an excellent job of looking after this, and I'm sure Jim Modishaw had a lot to do with that. And I was just very impressed, and I learned an awful lot about what fires can do and how they generate their own weather, their own temperature, scary things that I knew nothing about. We had a little occurrence in Silver Creek where a small subdivision, about 7 or 8 homes existed. The fire moved in there. It got 4 of them. It eliminated 4 homes, never touched the other 4. Difficult to explain. Forestry really couldn't tell me why. It's just what fire does. And it's a scary situation, but we weathered the storm. And when it was over, I realized how dire this was, and the good service that we received from the community. And I was proud to say that the community took ownership of their lives and their property, and we had no major problems of that. It was probably the most traumatic experience of my service in the force. I've investigated many major files, some very brutal, and this file, it bothered me, and it's now some 18 years since that fire, and I still get very choked up when I talk about that, because that fire could have caused us a lot more problems, and we did what we did, and I have no regrets.